replay of Melbourne versus Carlton from the Telstra Dome. Round 2 of the Wizard Cup, right here on Fox Footy.
And welcome to Telstra Dome for the last of the quarterfinals in the Wizard Cup. A superb late afternoon in Melbourne. Temperature in the mid-20s as the Demons get ready to take on the Blues. The winner tonight earns the right to go into the semi-finals of the Wizard Cup next weekend and take on the Western Bulldogs. Robert Walls, hard to pick a winner tonight as I welcome you. Both teams pretty impressive last time up.
They were, Stephen. We certainly saw Melbourne beat Brisbane up at Cairns last week, and Carlton, of course, beat the Bombers. Both of these teams are very keen to win this Wizard Cup.
Well, let's have a look now at the Melbourne lineup, Robert. Who interests you in the Melbourne team tonight?
Well, a lot of these young players interest me, but a couple that we've marked there in red. Nathan Brown, close to 100 games, very much a senior player now with the Demons. He was runner-up in their best and fairest last year to Jeff White. Will Brad Miller play at centre-half back or the usual centre-half forward position? Melbourne, of course, haven't got Jared Rivers and Alistair Nicholson, their usual key defenders, playing today. Miller may well go to centre-half back. And Paul Wheatley, we've mentioned Paul Wheatley there. He's a super kick and kicked a couple of super goals last week, 9-pointers. They'll be looking to get the ball into Wheatley's hands when he's around about the 60-metre mark out from goal.
Let's now go to Christy Malthouse, and she is with the coach of the Demons, Neil Danaher, very shortly. And by the way, no Travis Johnson tonight for the Demons. Rob, he's a late withdrawal.
Well, they will miss Travis Johnson, but one of the strengths of this team is their midfield, and they've got some young players like Sylvia coming into it. Brock McLean's another, so he can be covered. And
Neil Danaher is now ready with Christy.
Neil, with teams like the Bulldogs and the Kangaroos winning, do you put much emphasis on gaining sponsors and memberships from winning games in the Wizard Cup?
Oh, no, I think our supporters will get behind us again like they did last year. We're probably going to need 3 years to turn ourselves around financially. They understand that, and I'm sure they'll get behind us this year.
Jeff White, you said last week his timing was out a little bit. How long do you think it'll take him to get used to these new ruck rules?
Oh, about 5 minutes. I reckon Jeff will be able to handle this, no worries. The issue I've got with it is I agree with the AFL, we need to protect ruckmen, but we also need the dual aim of allowing what is a great feature of our game, and that's a run and jump. We don't want to tip off like basketball. We don't want to play basketball. We want to play Aussie rules, and I think they need about 2 or 3 strides to get a jump of the ball. It's a great feature of our game, and I think we just need a little bit of fine-tuning, maybe make it a little bit bigger, because I think supporters, AFL supporters, love to see players run and jump at the ball.
Well, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the Blues lineup, Robert.
Well, we'll have a look at the Carlton lineup, and Brett Thornton, we've mentioned in red there, highlighted in red. He will play centre-half back or full-back. Being the regular full-back over recent seasons, he's a developing player, a very important player for the Blues. Across the half-forward line, Callum Chambers, crossed from the West Coast Eagles. He spent 7 seasons with West Coast, only played 50-odd senior games. He gets an opportunity with Carlton, and of course, Lance Whitnell at centre-half forward. They really need Lance firing, because if you've got Whitnell and Favola firing in that same forward line, you will worry most defences.
15 marks, 4 goals last week in the opening game of the Wizard Cup.
And the reason for that is that finally he's got himself fit and in shape. He's lost a lot of weight and he's able to cover the ground. That's been his big problem for the last 2 or 3 seasons. He just has been too heavy and hasn't been able to get to as many contests as Dennis Pagan would have liked.
But he looks super fit now as the Blues come out. One spot of bad news for Carlton. Anthony Koutafidis has not come up, had a bit of an injury problem during the week. Nothing too major, but Kouta is not playing tonight. And Nick Stevens, there he is, number 24, running around the banner, is captain tonight. We're going to take a break from Telstra Dome. Next, the action begins. It's the Demons up against the Blues.
Enjoy the...
Here comes Eddie! Eddie Betts gets it to Whitnell. He might go for another one. Yes! He can kick another one, Eddie! And he does!
Yes, Eddie Betts, 1 game for Carlton. He's already achieved cult status. Of course, last week, 7 disposals, a couple of goals. 18 years of age, Eddie Betts, taken third in the pre-season draft via the Caller Cannons. We'll look forward to him playing tonight. Christy Malthouse, welcome once again.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, it's a beautiful day in Melbourne, 25 degrees, just a slight breeze. Actually, inside it's 5 degrees cooler than outside, so it's 20 degrees in here, but a perfect day for football. Probably the only thing that may concern the players a little bit, being a twilight game, the sun on the east side of the ground can be a little bit hard to handle, just that sun glare, but it should probably take about half an hour to an hour for that to disappear, and it won't trouble them for the rest of the game. The ground seems to be in great condition. I think they're expecting about 20,000 people here tonight. Not quite that many here just yet, but certainly perfect conditions for football.
Thanks, Christy. Welcome, Tim Lane.
Thanks, Quartus, and this shapes a good one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to pick a winner, isn't it?
It is. Melbourne have had a decisive edge over Carlton over a number of years now. Even good Carlton teams have often stumbled against Melbourne a couple of times, notably in big finals matches. A very different Carlton group, of course, over the last couple of years, and their win against the D's in round 21 last year broke a 5-game losing streak. Interesting to hear Neil Danaher on the front foot about the centre ruck contest, wasn't it?
I think he's right on the money, Tim. I really do. I think they should persevere with this centre circle, which limits the run-up. But I do think that perhaps they might have to make the circle just a fraction bigger.
Say what, 2 metres?
Maybe 2 metres,
yep.
So that the ruckman can get 2 or 3 steps before he leaps for the ball. As Neil said, we don't want to tip off where the ruckman virtually takes 1 step and then puts his hand up. You know, we want the collisions, but we don't want the full-blooded collisions that we've had in recent years that have injured so many of our ruckmen.
You mentioned no Cooter. There's no Campo either for Carlton,
yes.
Of course, suspended out of last week's opening round. And as you said, Nick Stevens at the helm, David Neitz winning the toss. These two teams are really going to want to win this, so it sets up a terrific second-round match.
Melbourne last week defeated a very undermanned Brisbane Lions, but they still beat them pretty soundly by 45 points. And a very solid win by the Blues, knocking off Essendon by 37 points. There's David Neitz. What a record he has got for Melbourne. 6 years as captain, 6-time goal kicker. There's an All-Australian last year. Matthew Lappin had 28 disposals last week.
Nathan Brown getting up. Clint Bizzle, number 3. And Clint Bizzle has become a very important player in this Melbourne lineup because he's so versatile. He can play key defence or take a turn in the middle, even go forward. And Brendan Favola heading towards the goal square with Lance Whitnell alongside him.
Got a little ribbon in his hair, is it?
Just a little one, Tim.
We saw the samurai look last night with Shannon Grant, so anything goes these days.
Callum Chambers, number 22, new player for Carlton. And as we mentioned, 7 years with West Coast. Comes from Victoria, down Gippsland Way.
So Jeff White explained he had a few timing problems last week, just getting the centre bounce right. Let's see how much work he's put into it this week as we start this Wizard Cup quarter-final. It's going to be Barnaby French up against White. French got the first tap, snared those straight away by McDonald for Melbourne. Puts them inside 50. Not a bad sort of kick, right down the throat of Brad Green. And he is well within range in the opening 10 seconds of the match.
Well, he's a beautiful kick. Either on the run or a set shot is Brad Green, the left footer, formerly from Tasmania. And gee, just have a look at him, how he's developed. That's a very quick clearance, of course. He's almost big enough to play as a centre-half forward.
23 disposals last week for Green. Had an excellent match against the Lions. In he comes. Oh, well, believe it or not, it didn't even make the distance. It sneaked home for a point in the end. First score to Melbourne, and the Blues waste little time.
And Barnaby French has got it, and he gives it to last year's best and fairest, the former Kangaroo, and David Teague. That's a pretty good placement too. White interfering with Prendergast. Now it'll be play on Chambers from outside 50, and the Blues start with a big boomer. Must have been on the line. A 6-pointer.
They'll take it.
Just good to see 2 new players for the Blues featuring that. David Teague off half-back. And good contest by Prendergast allows Betts to crumb the ball, handball it across the Chambers.
The back foot was outside the 50-metre line.
And that's why we're hearing the boos as we saw the replay, and the Carlton fans aren't happy. They reckon they've been cheated of 3 points.
No video replay this year. So down it goes in the middle again. Heffernan finds some space, kicks out in the direction of Robertson. Back to McDonald, his second touch. Attacking it is Cam Bruce from behind, couldn't get there. Spawn's thrown out of the way like a rag doll by Neitz. And it's 55 out from the Demons' goal.
And let's just have a look at this. Was it outside the 50-metre arc? Yes, it was.
No question. And, well, I don't like video intervention in sports contests unless we really need it. For that particular decision, it probably is worth consideration. Now, here's Brown, and that's a good delivery. Just curled a little. Thornton. And Carlton do it well. Stevens, the acting skipper, for Whitnell. Paul Wheatley's lined up on him with Bell on Favola. Scotland is after Favola here. In fact, Favola was on the lead and had run beyond it. Bell working it to White. Now McDonald. All done under extreme pressure. McLean in shifting ground there. And the Blues have got it back. Prendergast, untidy kick, but a good result. And from there, Favola might be a chance to do what Callum Chambers was denied.
And the tackle by Jared Waite was just exceptional. Caused the turnover and a quick kick back into the Carlton forward line. And Brendan Favola lining up.
You'd have your money on him to kick that distance.
Distance shouldn't worry him.
To give the Blues a flying start. A 6-pointer on the board. Favola for 9. Scores 1.
So 7 plays 1. Another stat for McDonald. It's been prominent early. Gives and then receives once again. Ordinary kick to the wing. Wait. Cooter-like with the one hand. Scoops it up. Gives it to Walker. Puts the Blues back inside 50. And we'll have a throw in. Geez, McDonald has had 7 disposals already, Robert Walls.
Yeah, he's running hot, isn't he?
50 out. White from behind. Prendergast all wrapped up. Stalemate. Oh, he's been... Gee, that is tough. Did he deem he took it?
Well, he didn't. He took it off a bounce off the ground, didn't he?
Yeah. Out of the ruck. Gee, he had no hope at all getting rid of that. What's going on out there?
That's the way it is these days. Here's Nathan Brown. Slightly ragged kick. It just about carried Whitnell for Neitz. But Wiggins mops up for the Blues. Sloppy hand pass.
Gee, Whitnell covered a lot of ground to get back there to make it hard for Neitz. And that's good play by Lance Whitnell. He's playing as a forward, but was prepared to really stretch himself to get back there and help out.
Oh,
that is just
ridiculous.
I think the umpire thought Prendergast was the ruckman, and he wasn't, because it was Barnaby French.
That's why I was a bit confused, but definitely we didn't contest the ruck, Joe.
It speaks of a mentality, though, which is wrong and distorted.
Houlihan showing plenty of dash across half-back. He has 3 bounces. A heavy shepherd off the ball is legal, says the umpire. Turnover. Maloney with strength, but the whistle... There's a ball coming back, and it's going Carlton's way. Play on. Kick to the wings, poor. Brown couldn't take the mark, but it kept his feet, more importantly. Handball's back to Ferguson. Now Maloney. Kick inside 50's good, finds Neitz. And David Neitz is going to be kicking from about 48 metres out. Pretty tight angle, but it is gettable.
And the big skipper, of course, has been set at that full forward position for the last few years, and I think that's where he'll play his career out. Days are gone where they'll play him at centre half back.
Good looking kick from Neitz, but it's offline. 7 plays 2, Blues in front.
We came expecting a contest. We've got it early. This could be a cracker. The winner meets the Western Bulldogs in a semi-final. Teague making position for Stevens' kick. A couple of smart blondes, those two. And that was just about good enough. Not paid. Bruce working it inboard for White. He was indecisive, got it off to Maloney, but he's under pressure. McDonald for another one. A throw, I'm assuming, and it's Carlton's ball.
He was desperate to keep the ball alive, Maloney. Umpire deemed that he scooped it up.
Waite. Blues work it in quickly. Whitnell has 2 against him. Lappin forward to the centre for little Eddie Betts. A soda from there. The Blues have their second. That's what he's there for.
And 2 Demon defenders contested against Whitnell. Extra numbers at ground level for Carlton. And little Eddie Betts, see 2 Demon defenders up there. They're very Lance Whitnell conscious. And that just shows how important Lance Whitnell in form is to this team.
A goal to Eddie.
And Paul Wheatley playing at centre-half back on Whitnell. And Ferguson playing at full-back on Favola.
13 plays 2. A little quick kick out of danger by Thornton. It was clever in the end. Finds Scotland. Goes back into the middle looking for French. Bizzle late on the sea but did well to spoil. Right in the middle of Telstra Dome. Blues have the numbers. Stevens, can he get a kind bounce? He does. Little left foot kick to half forward. Blues go deep into attack through Chambers into the goal square. Whitnell!
2 good signs for Carlton. Chambers featuring, Eddie Betts featuring, and Whitnell, who 5 years ago was one of the best 10 players in the competition in my book, and in the last 2 years hasn't been in the best 200.
Fantastic start by the Blues. They've kicked all 3 goals in this match, and here's the build-up again. Chambers, quick kick, long and direct to the tip of the goal square, and Whitnell with strength.
And you can just see the push on Paul Wheatley. Push Wheatley out into the path of the ball, takes the mark on the chest, puts the ball through for their 3rd goal.
The Blues 3 goals to none. Melbourne have won all 3 set of clearances so far. The rest of the time, the tide has been the other way. At centre circle is exaggerating centre bounces that are anything but vertical. Brock McLean for the Demons. Davey beaten by the bounce. Carazzo for the Blues. Davey outpaces him. Brilliantly done. Superb effort. Robertson. Never online. The Demons have their 3rd behind.
Jeez, that was quick of Aaron Davey.
Houlihan, beautiful kick to the outer side. Finds Chambers to the wing. And that's a strong mark in front taken by Green. He plays on, bangs it long and high back inside 50. Wrestles on. Again, Carlton have numbers of the ball. Thornton to Houlihan. Nice spot up at half, back to Prendergast. He's got 2 players on in the middle. One of them Spawn. He can go. Now Spawn takes the mark and plays on. Weighs up the options. Goes the long one, looking for Waite. He's got the city. Stays down in the end. Front of the pack is Scotland. Handballs in the direction of Betts. But Melbourne out of trouble through Wheel and Just. And it's a good kick to half back and finds White.
Drop the sitter after making good ground to get there, and it's a tough contest. Favola working it out. Waite spraying, and James McDonald has it for the 8th time in the first half of this opening quarter.
Daniel Bell has been moved on to Favola.
Goes for White. Oh, he rammed into the back of Brendan Favola. And working up the ground, it's Favola's ball.
Yeah, Barnaby French playing permanent forward, which means Prendergast can ruck.
Whitnell has it again off a perfectly weighted kick, which just carried the fingertips of the defender in front and landed like an autumn leaf on Whitnell's chest.
What's been impressive, Tim, is the work rate of Brendan Favola. You know, sure his job is to kick goals, but Dennis Pagan would be thrilled to see the tackle, the smother, the desperation that he's showing at ground level. And, gee, that's the sort of thing that you want your full forwards to do. And Favola's prepared to get outside the forward 50 to do the chasing and the pressuring.
Big Red is hot. Not this time. The Blues lead by 17 points.
1-1 to Whitnell. As Bizzle does the kicking in and goes the short option to Uze. To McDonald once again, touch number 9. She almost needs sunnies out there at the moment. It's that bright. Half the ground in shadows. The outer side in blazing sunshine as the Demons are away. This is Bell to half forward. Looks for Robertson. Couldn't hang on to it. Nice pick up there by Thornton. To the true centre half back position. The kick is perfect. It finds Waite, who drills it long. Favola's got a chance here. Just nudges the backside into the opponent. Takes the mark. Plays on. Tackled as he kicks. Marked by Ferguson, the last line of defence.
Uze in space. Started quietly. Couple of possessions in the last minute. Jamar somehow letting that slip through his fingers. Miller taken under the ball by Thornton, pushed under it. In the opinion of umpire Simon Meredith, 2 actions is what they look for. Now here's McLean, and he is inside the 50.
Bizzle has been moved on to Whitnell, and they are shuffling their defenders around. There's no doubt that is the weak link of this Melbourne team at the moment, particularly with Rivers and Nicholson not playing. And if Whitnell and Favola can hit some form, it will certainly worry Neil Danaher. Already it is.
McLean missing on the near side, so a 4th behind to the Demons. Brock McLean played a few games last year, having been a high draft pick in 2003, and big things expected of him in his 2nd senior season.
Yep, taken pick 5 back in 2003. As from the kick in, the marks taken by Carazzo. He's got Teague on short. And he in turn pops it over the top to the hard-running Houlihan. To Favola. Precision play by the Blues at the moment.
You mentioned the hard-running Houlihan. It was Houlihan who kicked in at full-back. That's ambitious.
Square up to centre half forward. Miller couldn't take the diving mark. Bruce under pressure. Good use of the body there by Stevens. He's got rid of his opponent. Now on the right, inside 50, but it's all Melbourne. Bruce fills the hole there and takes the mark deep in defence.
And Neil Danaher has sent a few players back to fill the hole, because Carlton just starting to get away with their quick 3 goals. And they're just playing a little bit of possession football.
Bizzle to Brown. Robertson.
Be a good contest, this one, Tim. Robertson and Teague.
A couple of best and fairest for their clubs in the last 2 seasons, and that's a good delivery to Brad Green.
Absolutely brilliant pass.
Now Green missed in the opening minute of the match from about this range, and it's range that normally he can cope with comfortably. Quite a wonderful last quarter in that qualifying final when Melbourne upset Carlton back in 2000. That is a magnificent kick. Rapier-like for the Demons first.
And there's the Robertson mark in the centre square. A bullet-like kick which sets Green up. But what we didn't see was Big Paul Johnson, the new recruit for the Demons from West Coast Eagles, putting on a block. And that block enabled Green to get the 8 metres of space that he needed.
So a little steadier there for the D's. Back to 10 points the margin. Jamar in the ruck against Bryan for the Blues. McLean pops one over the top to Godfrey. To Brown. Running back with the flight of the ball with a lot of courage was Wiggins. Did it well. Avoided any clash. And is quick to get rid of the football. To Lappin. Into the middle. And it's marked by Spawn. Carazzo's the runner. Receives and kicks to 50. Looks for Whitnell. Fisted away there by Wheatley. Stevens chips it over the top. Beautiful kick to Whitnell. Play on, says the umpire. Betts. Whitnell. Tackle. Turnover. Godfrey gets it to Bruce. Now Ferguson in traffic. Unloads to handball. Will it come off? Well done by Brown, who attacked the football hard. Good stuff as he knocks it on towards Robertson. It's a hot footy at the moment. Robertson back to Whelan. Whelan under pressure. Somehow fed it out to Green. And Green goes long for home. White's outnumbered. No mark.
Johnson
it's a free kick for a hole.
He was held. The big fella. Paul Johnson played one senior game for West Coast Eagles, originally from Victoria, and high hopes are held for him, and you can just see the grappling from behind. And the umpires are very quick to ping that in the Wizard Cup games.
So Paul Johnson from point blank range slots it home.
And Johnson is playing on Carl Norman, and it will not suit Norman playing on that last line of defence against someone who's so much bigger than him.
What do you think of the free kick, Robert?
Look, it wouldn't have been paid 2-3 years ago.
Gee, I reckon that was 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other.
Today, there's every chance that it will be.
Blues have dominated most of this opening quarter, but suddenly Melbourne are within a kick. The first one was a heart starter. The second really has them going. They're dominating the centre breaks. Nick Stevens might interrupt that. No, he won't. Yes, he will. Well done. Great stuff. And here's Favola. Didn't quite hang on. It's a desperate contest. This is like a battle for 4 points. Wait, Walker. Good pressure from Bell, held things up. Carlton prevail. Wait, from a long way. Mongrel kick. How will it bounce? Cameron Bruce had his hands full. Nearly lost his jumper, but eventually comes away with the goods.
Long passes on here, and Bruce does it magnificently and finds Uze on centre wing. That was a superb pass.
Nick Stevens has had 9 disposals in this first quarter.
McDonald 9 for Melbourne. Uze's got the ball. The lead's provided by Miller. Gets there on the first bounce, but Thornton picks him off.
Robert
Sees it
Whitnell
safely over the boundary line. Christie.
Robert Whitnell has moved down to the back line, you would have noticed down there. What would they be doing there?
Well, I think he's got licence to do that, Christie. That's the second time we've seen him deep in the defensive 50, and he obviously has, well, the permission, if you like, to just head down there to help out when it looks as if the Blues are under siege.
Great effort. McLean from a long way, receiving the hand pass from Rigoni. But another wasted thrust from Melbourne. They've been inaccurate. The margin back to 3 points. The Demons right in the game now.
And Wheatley going with Whitnell all the way.
No mark. Well done by McLean. Gets the handball to Neitz. It's a hot football again. He's tackled by Houlihan. McLean can't take clear possession. Now Scotland. Bumped by Robertson, but did well to get the handball off to Lappin. The Blues out of trouble. Lappin back to the wing. Slightly over the head of Bannister. Now Bruce. Breaks one tackle. Puts it back inside 50. Robertson from behind. Went for the big fly. Couldn't take the mark. Well done by Wiggins.
Yeah, I've got numbers back there, Carlton. It's a real flood.
Lappin to Scotland. Favola. Mark on the wing.
Good to see Favola playing away from the goal square. Just develops him as a footballer.
Bannister in the white boots. Wedging it for Whitnell. This is a different footballer from the one who we've seen struggle over the last couple of years.
Well, he's just run the length of the field to take that mark. I'm not sure if he would have done that last year.
Well, I don't think he could have, Christie. I think he would have run out of gas. But he's certainly covering the ground here. And Paul Wheatley is struggling to stand up in that key defensive role.
In the last 100 seconds of the opening term, this for a 9-point lead. A lead of 1 super goal to the Blues. And Whitnell gives it to them. He sparkled again in this opening quarter. 5 very good quarters of football from Whitnell so far in this Wizard Cup.
Well, everyone's excited about it, aren't they?
Oh, look, I think it's terrific. It's terrific for Lance. It's terrific for Carlton.
And good for football.
You go back a few months ago, Carlton couldn't get a first-round draft pick for Lance Whitnell, and they would have traded him had they been able to get that. I bet they'd get a first-round draft pick for Lance Whitnell now.
And some. Jamar got first hand to it ineffectively. Godfrey. Miller can't take the mark. A lot of pressure again from Thornton. Handball's fed out to McLean. Head over the football. Gets it to Uze. Teague, as you'd expect, went hard at it. Might have hurt himself. Wait. Good handball under pressure to Stevens. Squeezes the kick out wide to Walker. He'll wait for it to bounce. To the wing. Bruce will get there first. So bad turnover there from Andrew Walker.
Simon Godfrey's been moved on to Nick Stevens.
To Brown. To Bizzle. Miller again, well scored by Thornton. Stevens. Whitnell at half-back. Big Red's doing it all at the moment, and a good kick too to wait. Here's a chance now for Carlton. Quick transition for Vola. Beautiful play by the Blues. Started in defence and started from a great 1%er from Thornton. And down the other end, Brendan Favola is well within scoring range.
And don't they look dangerous, Whitnell and Favola? But they're getting the ball quickly into that forward 50 and putting the ball out to players on a lead. That's a little bit of a change to the Carlton game plan, Tim. I think in the last couple of years under Dennis Pagan, they tended to bomb the ball to the centre-half forward, full forward positions. What we're seeing in this first quarter, they're prepared to put it out a little bit wider and use the shorter kick.
Is it too early to class Whitnell as a hard-running, all-court player?
Yes.
Favola on the siren. Has put it right through the middle. Blues lead Robert Walls by 15 points at quarter time.
And they deserve their lead, and that man in picture's been a big part of the reason why, and so too Brendan Favola. Thornton at centre-half back has been good for them. Nick Stevens, acting captain, dominating in the midfield, close to 10 possessions in that first term. And you can see there, plenty of congratulations. They're up and running, and Dennis Pagan, he will be very happy as he goes down there for this quarter-time address.
Tonight.